Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pick 6 podcast. What an amazing weekend in football, week 14. I apologize for the delay. Currently at the time we're recording this, it is Wednesday night, so we're a little bit behind, but I've had a very busy life schedule, so just trying to play catch up. And this is honestly the first chance I got to sit down for a pod. What we're going to try to do potentially in the future is maybe try some more short form content. Obviously, some of our podcasts go 15 to 25 minutes, which is fine. But we might try even some shorter videos as well, maybe merging podcasts into a couple of different videos and see how that does with our engagement. But I did just want to take a moment to say thank you all so much for the engagement on YouTube, whether it's liking the videos, just listening, subscribing, sharing it with a friend. It has been super helpful. I checked really just our analytics the other day on YouTube, and we had it was 16.2K views. So a lot of views with YouTube Shorts with our full podcast. So again, thank you so much for just championing this podcast and helping share it and being a part of this journey as we go along for the ride. With that being said, let's go ahead and unwrap our final weekend in college football, week 14. So our record this weekend was 4-2. Still pretty solid record for picking. Obviously, we don't cherry pick games. We pick really, arguably the 6 toughest games in my opinion each and every week. So that 4-2 record brings us up to, as we finish up the regular season, record of 15-9, 15 wins, 9 losses. And obviously we've hit some of our bonus picks as well. We did not do a bonus pick this past weekend. But let's just jump into just reacting to a few of these different games from the weekend. So first we have our game that happened on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. We have the Georgia Bulldogs facing the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This was an interesting game. Obviously, we picked Georgia to win this, and we did not think they were going to cover the spread, and we absolutely nailed both. I knew 13.5 points is way too much. I thought it would be higher scoring, honestly. Obviously, the final score is 16-9, so a very kind of low scoring, punch you in the mouth type of game. Friday game, like I said, Georgia was pretty sluggish. Did not find the end zone too often, but they did play very good defense throughout the entire game. They didn't stop Haynes King, but they definitely contained him, and they kept Georgia Tech out of the end zone for the entire game, which is a very, very impressive thing to do as a defense, considering Georgia Tech is not great on defense, but they're very good on offense. So now, Georgia, with this win, is going to be going to the SEC championship, playing for a first. If they win, Saturday evening in the SEC championship, they will have a first round bye in the playoffs. Can they beat Alabama? I don't know. In our next video, we will be talking about that, discussing it and breaking it down. The second game was also a Friday game. It was Texas A&M on the road, final game of the year, the regular season, at Texas. Now, this pick for me was absolutely chopped. I will be honest with you. I picked Texas A&M in this game to win outright and to cover the spread, which was not very much. It was only 2.5 points. But let me just say this. I have had concerns all year long about Texas A&M. I really have, especially after that South Carolina game, but really just honestly through different moments throughout the season where they just looked human and they just looked like an average team that was just scraping by every single week. However, even though I've seen these concerns from Texas A&M, I did not pick Texas. We know what happened a few weeks ago. I picked Texas to take down Georgia, and it did not happen that way. They got crushed. I just didn't have the faith that Texas was going to be a legit SEC contender after the Georgia game. However, I was wrong. What's interesting is people were going absolutely crazy in my comments section about, how dare I have concerns for Texas A&M after being down 30-3 at halftime versus South Carolina. But my concerns were correct. My concerns proved to be true. They not only lost this game, Texas A&M, they not only lost the game, but they spoiled their chances at playing in the SEC title game. Now, obviously, they're going to make it to the playoffs, but man, it'd be really, really nice to win that conference for the first time, or at least play in the title game. I don't even think they've played in the title game since they joined the SEC. Now, I'm not throwing too much shade at Texas A&M. I don't have anything against them. I think Mike Elko is a great coach, but I don't really see them making a deep run in the semi, maybe to the semifinal or the Natty. I don't think they're going to make it that far into the playoffs. I think their weaknesses that I have pointed out multiple times, and people have been throwing shade for it, but it's just true. I think it's going to show up in the CFP and come back to bite them. And the CFP is one and done. You lose, you're out. Game number 3 was Miami going on the road at Pitt, and this is another pick that I completely chopped. I expected Pitt to push Miami to the brink, to take him to the edge, 12 rounds, take it to decision, and really just leave it up to maybe a field goal or a lucky play at the end, and really to give Miami all they could handle. And rumor has it, Pitt still has not got off the bus to play the football game. I mean, what a terrible game for Pitt, making me look foolish, bro. Miami won 38-7. Man, they gave them the belt. That's all I'm going to say. But you know what? I picked Pitt to win this game. Clearly wrong. Clearly missed on the pick. But props to Miami for proving they potentially deserve a spot in the CFP. And we'll see how it all hashes out. There's a strong chance they could jump Notre Dame if the committee changes their mind after conference championship week. We will see. But they have the head over Notre Dame. So we will see if Miami does slip into the playoffs this year. Game number 4 was Oregon on the road at Washington. Now, this was a game after chopping a couple picks in a row, we absolutely nailed this game. Pick was successful, and we also were very successful on picking the spread as well. We correctly picked that Oregon was going to cover the spread, which was 6.5 points, I believe. This is exactly what the type of game that I thought it would be in Autzen Stadium. Oregon went out there, they dominated, they kept separation really the entire game. It was never really in doubt. In my opinion, as I watched it was never in doubt. I always knew Oregon was going to pull away with the win, even when Washington would, score to try to make it somewhat of a close game. Great win for Oregon to, only have a 1-loss season and to solidify themselves in the top half of the CFP rankings. So we'll be seeing them in the playoffs, probably at a 5 seed, maybe number 6 if things get jumbled around after championship weekend. And game number 5 was Alabama going on the road at Auburn, the Iron Bowl. We also crushed this pick. Obviously, Alabama won 27-20, so we got that correctly. Spread was 6.5. We got Alabama on the spread as well. We picked them, and lights out performance on the picks. Now, this is a great game. I sat down and watched the entire game on Saturday evening. What's interesting is somehow Ty Simpson was still standing at the end of 4 quarters. I mean, he took some real shots from the defense all night long. He was getting hit, thrown to the ground. I thought there might even be a point where he would exit the game or go into concussion protocol. He slammed his head on the ground. Like, it didn't look like just a soft hit. Like, he really bounced his head off the ground. Somehow he managed to keep playing, keep fighting for this team, and just continuing to be a tough cookie and stick it out. So shout out to Ty Simpson. Man, he's a tough kid. He talks a lot of trash. He does, to be honest, but he backs it up with his play and with just truthfully how tough he is. Auburn, I felt like had a really solid game plan. Obviously, we know they're not playing for much, maybe to get into a bowl game, but who cares really? Bowl games are irrelevant at this point in time. And they were in it to the very end. It's very unfortunate. I was watching the game at the end, and I'm thinking, they could have a chance. They could tie this up 27-27, take it to overtime, and possibly beat Alabama at home, because it's a tough place to play, and that would swing momentum. But what happens? Wide receiver catches the ball, and instead of getting out of bounds and stopping the clock, tries to be cute, tries to look all pretty over there and get a couple extra yards. Ball gets punched out, and it's game over. Game over because they put the ball on the deck very late in the game, and pretty much Bama nailed it from there. Bama with the win will advance to the SEC Championship. As I mentioned, they'll be facing Georgia Bulldogs at 4 p.m. on Saturday. And again, whichever team wins, Georgia or Alabama, whoever wins this obviously will be crowned the SEC champion. And they will also have a first-round bye in the playoffs if they can win, most certainly. Final game is the game. The game. Man, such a rewarding feeling as a Buckeyes fan. I know I'm biased, man, and a lot of times as I record, I try not to put my emotions into it or my fandom. I try not to let my fandom show, even though the background of my walls in the office obviously shows. But, a few weeks ago, I watched, if you know RJ Young, he covers college football. He has a show called Adapt and Respond. I listen to a lot of his stuff, as I do with a lot of college football analysts. And man, he was just so passionate about his team, which he's an Oklahoma Sooners fan. And he was just so like, man, if you don't cry when your team loses or when you have a win like this, like, are you a real fan? And that just perfectly explained how I feel about the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's my team. I am so passionate. Yes, there's tears when we lose, and there's also sometimes tears when we win, especially that trophy, the Natty in the background. So I just, man, truly just want to say I'm so proud of our team, the humility we had. Obviously, there's a lot of different variables and things that went on, but overall, I felt like we had a lot of humility. We won the right way. We made the state of Ohio proud, and man, I just want to say it's proud to be a member of Buckeye Nation. Anyways, obviously we had this pick correctly. Ohio State wins 27-9, so they did cover the spread as well. And honestly, our game prediction was not too far off, a couple points either way from our prediction. What's interesting is after kickoff, it really started to look like Michigan was back, and they were going to kick our butts again for a 5th straight year. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit worried. Like, out of 10, I was probably maybe a 3.5 worried, which is a lot because I was 0% worried going into the game. However, I was with friends watching the game, and they were freaking out. They were like a 12 out of 10 worried. They're saying, we suck, we're no good, we're going to lose this game 5 years in a row. And I'm like, listen, y'all, take a chill pill. We got this. We just need to calm down, get all the nerves out, and play our game and do what we do best and execute every single play, every drive on offense and defense. And what happened? After Michigan took this 6-0 lead after the first 5+ minutes of the game, the Buckeyes did nothing but dominate on the ground, dominate through the air, and not to mention, we kept the team up north out of the end zone for the entire game. 9 points, that's all they scored. 3 points were given me from the interception, and the other 2 field goals were given up by our defense throughout the entire game. Stellar defensive performance, and I can't even point out one player. I could say Arvell Reese is great. He had a great game. Tackles, he's in the backfield. That's true. Caleb Downs blowing up plays, great in coverage. That's true, but really just all throughout all 3 levels of the defense, stellar game by each and every single player on that defense. Time for a little trash talk. That's what it's time for. I mean, the team up north spent more time defending the Block M logo than they did defending their own end zone. Let that sink in. They spent more time defending the logo after the game, which personally I think is a double standard and hypocritical, right? They plant a flag on our field, start a fight, and maybe we were a little in our feelings at that moment, but they plant a flag on our field like if nothing's wrong, and they won't let us plant a flag on theirs, which, I don't know, we had a few players considering it, and Coach Day shut it down, but we weren't going to plant some flag in the middle of the field. I don't think so. We had a flag, but anyways, seems like a double standard to me. Don't spend so much time defending the logo after the game. Why don't you defend it during the game? Or stop trying to start fights every single play versus our team. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm still baffled. I cannot believe that there were not more unsportsmanlike conduct penalties called on the team up north. I mean, several were called on us. There was maybe a few on them, but man, almost every single play, they're in our face, bumping our face mask, probably cursing at us, trying to fight us, laying on top of our guys after plays, just shoving our guys to the ground after the whistle, after the play, which is a clear penalty. Not to mention, Barham, number one, headbutts an official and doesn't get ejected from the game. How does that happen? How is that possible? Man, I am convinced that ref who got headbutted by Barham had something on the money line, or he had a parlay cooking, because how in the heck else would you not eject a player for the game for physically trying to hurt a referee? That's all I'll say about that. That is absolutely crazy, and man, something shady was going on there. Not to mention that our comms went out, our communications with our QB and our offensive coordinator and our coach, man, and it's just like Coach Day said, we had a feeling that was going to happen, and I wonder why. It's not a coincidence, right? It's because something shady is going on up north. And the fact that we knew about it, expressed concern about it the week before, and came up with the backup plan if it did happen, just goes to show that it's not weather, or it's not an act of God, or it's not just some crazy coincidence. Because if it was weather, guess what? It would go out on both sides of the ball, both teams. So something weird going on there. I'm just glad we got our get back, and I'm passionate. And some folks may disagree. That's okay. We're different. Let's move on. Bo Jackson. What a name, right? Bo Jackson, true freshman running back, was absolutely nasty on the ground. A very, very slippery fella. And I ain't just talking about snow and ice on the ground being slippery. He is slippery. He had over 100 yards, 117 rushing yards, and he outrushed Michigan as a team. They had 100 total rushing yards. And shout out to Bryce Underwear for getting 68 passing yards and a pick and 1 rushing yard all game. That's very, very impressive. But shout out to Bo Jackson, our running back. I think he's the next man up. I think he's the next great running back at Ohio State. He's proving himself to potentially be the next Travion Henderson, and he definitely has the it factor. I have nothing against James Peoples. I have nothing against Isaiah West, which I think he is also very good, like kind of right behind Bo. I have nothing against CJ Donaldson. I think he's a powerful back, and obviously James Peoples can hurdle people, and that's very impressive. But man, Bo is just different. He's just different. Like, he is the clear-cut number 1 running back on the team. And man, he is just going to be an absolute stud. I cannot believe, as a true freshman, he is putting up numbers like this and just this impressive on the field. Shout out Bo Jackson. Also shout out Julian Sayin. Had a very solid performance on Saturday afternoon, propelling himself into the final Heisman conversation, in my opinion. Obviously, he threw the interception early in the game. Didn't read the defense well on that play. Definitely misread it. Didn't realize that defender was in front of Jeremiah Smith. But after that throw, after honestly the incompletion on first down and the interception on second down, he did nothing but bounce back and torch the defense the entire game with a final stat line of 3 touchdowns, 19 for 26 on completions, and 233 passing yards in the snow, in the frozen tundra. He also scrambled for a first down at a very crucial point in the game, and I believe it was on 3rd down, and that was very impressive. And in my opinion, honestly, a lot of people are of this opinion, we're going to have a Heisman showdown this Saturday night in Indy. Winner take all. Mendoza, you win, the Heisman is yours. Sayin, you win, I hope you do, and I think you will, maybe. The Heisman is yours. We will see on Saturday night. But all in all, a great game by my Buckeyes. We won with humility. We finally broke that 4-year streak. We broke the curse. Coach Day can beat the team up north. So proud of our team and our coaching staff. And man, give us our gold pants. And maybe give us the Big Ten championship. And maybe later on in a couple of months, give us the Natty. Anyway, that's going to do it for our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in on the show today. We'll see you soon for our conference championship picks. Have a great day.